Hey, everybody, welcome to the 9th episode of Committed Critics, a pop culture podcast where we're not just committed to our opinions, but also each other.
Aww.
I'm Kevin Lau.
I'm Ryan Davis.
I'm Zachary Wright. How's everyone doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Everyone's doing great.
Cool.
How about you,
Yeah.
Zach? How have you been doing?
I'm a lot better now that I have finally traded in my PS4 to get ready for PS5. Got that in-store credit.
Did you trade into GameStop?
Yeah, I traded in GameStop. I got $200 for it, surprisingly enough. It was PS4 Pro.
If you turned it in earlier, when you have gotten $250 out of it?
No, it was $175 and you get an extra $25. So
Oh.
I got $200 out of it, yeah.
That's still pretty good.
Yeah, I got a PS5 for like $300.
Are you getting the PS5 on launch day though?
I am, yeah. I got the pre-order locked down, so
Yeah, no, I was about to say, like, that's better than most people, including me, which still haven't been able to capture a pre-order in the wild yet.
you have 4 windows on the 12th. You have 4 windows.
From Walmart, the most, the highly trafficked retail site. Because, like, literally, like, I went to GameStop, like, the morning after it was announced, the morning that pre-orders were supposed to start. I was just outside. I parked, like, 15 minutes before they opened. And I already saw a line forming. I was like, all right, I guess I'll join the line. So I joined the line. I actually saw someone I recognized. So we talked for a bit.
Mhm.
And finally, like, the GameStop employee came out. He's like, yeah, we ran out of pre-orders yesterday.
Oh no.
So you can still pre-order controllers. Here's a flyer talking about it. Sorry. And yeah, everyone was bummed. The funny thing is that you guys were kind of on the fence about the PS5, whereas I'm the one that had the money saved up for it. Like, I'm ready. Like, as soon as I can get my hands on it, I'm ready. I'm paying for it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I guess I have the money I can spare. Like, I don't know if I really need it right now. And then I'm like, I'll get a pre-order just to have it. Like, it's only $50 down. I'm like, no big deal. Poor Kevin's like, I had it all ready to go.
I don't even have a PS4. Like, I have I've been using my family's PS4 whenever I want to play on that. But yeah, personally, I only have like the PS2. So I really want that PS5, especially with backwards compatibility. But
If you can get the discless one, I'll trade you.
yeah, well, I may hold you up to that, considering how fast both of them are going and the demand for each one.
Yeah.
But moving on. So just so you guys know, listeners, this episode is the season finale for Committed Critics.
Woo!
We did it.
We are not, as you can tell by our PS5 discussion, we are not recording this in December. This is at November 7th, I believe. We are recording this just to pull back the curtain a bit. But I believe this episode
What a good
comes
day.
What
What
has
a
been a
great
really
day.
good day.
What a
Historic
this
day.
is a historical day.
Well, he never gonna be president. Never gonna be president.
Google November 7th, 2020, and you'll see how great today is. At least for apparently half the country only. Oh well.
Yeah. I mean,
Only
that's
half
the
that
better
matters.
half.
Only half that matters.
Yeah, right.
It's the better half of the
what a-
relationship.
What a country we live in. And to think some of those people have a PS5 pre-order and I don't.
I'd be surprised that half of the country has a PS5 pre-order. Let's be real here.
Well, so you know the meme that's been going around where like Joe Biden says he'll promise something and then the whole like United States turns blue.
Yeah.
So what if it's like Joe Biden's like, if I become president, everyone's gonna get PS5, and then the whole like nation just turns blue.
See, the sad thing is that won't happen because the Xbox users will all riot.
Right. I mean, you can just pay for an Xbox, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Microsoft would actually be more capable of handing out free Xboxes than Sony would be free PlayStations, but
Oh yeah. Oh, for
They
sure.
give them the Taco Bell.
they do a lot of things with those Xboxes.
Hey, PS5 hand there's a Burger King. I don't think we really can judge either side here. I'm gonna be honest here.
Man, Burger King is just premium McDonald's. Come on.
That's a bold statement.
I'll agree with that. McDonald's
sir. Whoa. Whoa.
Wait, Zach, are you telling me that you think McDonald's is better than Burger King?
There was a time in my life where I loved Burger King. Like I used to eat it religiously as a kid, and I don't know. It's just I haven't had Burger King in forever.
I haven't had fast food in forever. I typically avoid it.
Fair,
Same.
yeah.
Especially now during COVID. Just like that's not the place I want to eat.
That's fair. That is.
Anyway, so what's everyone up to really fast?
Really fast. I haven't, surprisingly, I think this is the first episode where I just didn't finish a book. I'm just slowly reading, but like I've been busy with work. But I've been rewatching My Hero Academia. I actually just caught up with the anime.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, watching it with my sister, showing it to her for the first time. She really loves it. I, of course, watching it the second time,
Cool.
really love it. Probably even more so now than before. Especially like season 4. When I was watching season 4 as it came out, it was kind of like, it feels kind of weird. Like it's different from the other seasons. But then like just binge watching it all together, it's like I loved it. I'm also reading the manga. I canceled my DC Universe subscription because of the transitions happening and not that great. But and I switched over to Shonen Jump, which is only $2 a month compared to DC Universe's $8 a month. So I'm just reading the My Hero Academia manga, just trying to catch up. I'm on chapter like 210, somewhere around there.
Kevin, as someone who is very much caught up with it, oh jeez.
Yeah, no, I know. I got to that turning point. I can't say it because of spoilers.
It's going off. It's going off the rails. It's on.
Dude, it's going off the rails. I'm about to start. So I just finished the Class A versus Class B arc. So I'm about to start the arc
that's
after
where.
that.
Yep, that gets really violent. Okay, good luck with that.
I'm sure once I catch up, you'll hear everything, Ryan.
Ryan, what have you been up to?
Not much, honestly. I acquired the My Hero Academia, the second movie, which I saw in theaters, and rewatching it again, I still enjoy it. Kevin, I highly recommend it.
I know I bought it the day it came out. I watched it like a few days ago.
Oh, good. Did you enjoy it or?
I really enjoyed it, and I definitely think it's better than the first movie.
Yeah, it very much is.
This is another thing where you can't like talk about spoilers, even though like the last 5 minutes were just blew my mind. I was very emotional at those last 5 minutes. It's not like, it's not the greatest. Like you watch it, it's like in terms of like objectively as a movie, I think it's just kind of, it's okay, like a 7 out of 10.
Oh yeah, it's a basic anime movie.
But like, if you're a fan of My Hero Academia, it's you're gonna love the movie. It's a lot of fun.
Pretty much. I mean, that's really all I've done. I haven't watched The Mandalorian. I haven't watched anything new. I went back to watching Food Wars again.
Ryan hasn't watched a Star Wars thing?
Look, I just, for some reason,
Don't you know what today is about?
I wasn't excited for Mandalorian.
Today is Star Wars, sir. And let me tell you this. I started watching season 2 of Mandalorian. The first episode's pretty cool.
I didn't like the first episode.
You watched the first episode of season 2?
I watched the first episode in season 2. I didn't really care for it. I haven't watched the second one yet.
I liked it. I thought it was better than anything in season 1, personally.
I enjoyed most of season 1. I enjoyed the episode that apparently you guys don't like, but apparently some people do. The prison episode.
Well, I mean, like the first, I will say the first season has like something for everybody.
Yeah.
So I like, if someone says they like one episode more than others and it's doesn't line up with mine, like I can still see why. I mean, I can still see why people will like season 2 premiere. It's still fun, but like I don't know. It's for me, like after episode 4, it's just the series just loses a lot of like dramatic conflict
or
anything.
I'm afraid it's gonna get bogged down trying to get here's all the Star Wars people, because now they're adding characters from the movies, and I'm like, I liked it because it was separate from the movies.
Nah, I think it's gonna help it. It'll help people watch it and enjoy it more.
I feel like it'll help mainstream people. Like if you are,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
because it's honest trailers point this out. They were like laughing because they were like, yeah, if you're that person who was just like wondering like where's Luke Skywalker in the Boba Fett show, which is not a Boba Fett show, or if you were wondering why your kid was just screaming about Baby Yoda constantly, then you have a reason to watch The Mandalorian. I'm like, yeah, but for me, I was like, this is a different take. It's like a Star Wars away from all the whiny Jedi kids and Skywalkers and everything. Like it was just its own separate thing, just within the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, building off of that though, I will say The Mandalorian is so mainstream that my mom watches it and she enjoys it.
Hey, cool.
My mom does not like Star Wars at all.
But she likes Mandalorian?
She likes Mandalorian. She just started watching it a little bit before season 2 premiered. She's like, I like it. And yeah, that's the way I judge how mainstream something is if my mom watches it and likes it. So
That's what I'm afraid is going to turn into something very mainstream.
it already is.
Yeah, mainstream isn't bad though. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I mean, it can be
it doesn't-
overhyped, but mainstream isn't bad.
That's me.
Yeah.
I don't want anything that's overhyped. And I'm like, if you start bogging this thing down, I'm going to start enjoying it less and less.
Just ignore people. Just watch.
I mean, ignore people. That's on you, man. That's on you.
I think I
Ignore
call it
people
on
and
Disney.
then just watch it for yourself and be like, you like it or you don't like it.
I call it on
So,
Disney. They're just going to appeal to the majority.
I mean, that's where the money's at.
Yeah, they have to. I got a feeling this is going to be this is how it starts out with our Star Wars talk today, boys.
What is our Star Wars talk today?
We are doing a tier list of all 9 Star Wars movies. We're not counting the TV shows. We're just doing all 9 Star Wars films and Solo and Rogue One.
And we're also not counting the Clone Wars animated movie.
Yes, correct. Not the animated movie.
Oh my gosh. Zach, can people watch this tier list as we make it on video?
As we build it, yeah, we can. If you check out our YouTube page I think it's at KFM Studios on YouTube,
Yep.
you can see us build the tier list in as we do it.
As we scream at each other. Thankfully, we're all in separate rooms, so therefore the screaming won't involve in the choking.
Yes.
Zach will just mute us in post.
Yeah, basically, I'll just cut you guys out. I have all the power right now. But anyways, to explain how this will work, so if viewers who at home do not know what a tier list is, we have 6 tiers. There's S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and F tier. S is at the top, being basically first place, number 1, like the best of the best, and then it goes down to like second, third, fourth, fifth, and then last tier, which is F. So we are gonna try to agree into what order to put all these 11 movies at, I believe.
We're gonna try to. This will...
being the spiteful little bastard that I am, put the movies in order as they should be: 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, Rogue One, 8, Solo, and 9, because Ryan can't control it right now.
Or if you're me, who's chronological and the correct way, because that's how time works. It's 1, 2, 3,
Wrong.
Rogue One, Solo, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But
Meanwhile, I'm sitting at the sidelines, knowing full well that you can't watch it either way because George Lucas just totally screwed it up.
Yes.
Well, he had no control over 7, 8, and 9. That's just Disney.
I mean, no. He did. He sold it. That was his control. He relinquished control.
Yeah, I mean, fair.
But the way he recut the original trilogy and how he built the prequel trilogy, it's just, there's inconsistencies no matter which way you watch it.
So, from there, we're starting with A New Hope. Star Wars Episode 4, the original Star Wars, as people refer as original purists refer to as Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin, I want you to lead the talk on this one. Where do you think Episode 4, A New Hope goes?
So for like a quick disclaimer, I'm not really that much of a Star Wars fan. I've seen every movie twice. I just don't care for it. There's some I like more than others, but that's about it.
The series. The series, correct? Not Star Wars.
Yeah, the series. Yeah, okay. Now, for Star Wars A New Hope, I think it's just okay. It's not as good as it could have been. It is not terrible. There's definitely like a lot of problems with the direction because George Lucas is just not a good director.
Yeah.
When you watch the movie, either both the original or the new current cut of it, you can tell there's a lot of editing had to be done to fix the problems with the direction that just feel really weird and inconsistent. And then the writing is
to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
To interrupt real quick, that I want to point out the editing, technological marvel.
Yeah.
Because the editing that had to be done on this film saved the whole franchise and series and made it what it is today. The editors saved the entire film.
Yeah. That being said, directors, please do not rely on your editors to fix your movie.
But yeah, please don't. Please don't rely on me to direct your film.
Just because Star Wars A New Hope worked out doesn't mean it's always going to work out. The writing was just kind of okay. Definitely Princess Leia was very underwritten compared to Luke and Han and all of them. But that being said, A New Hope, I placed it between B and C. I lean more towards C because I just think it's just okay, but I'm totally cool with it being B because it is a technical marvel.
Mhm.
It pushed a lot of like uh technology into the film industry that was just not there currently, and just invented a whole new
Practical effects.
right. It was a nice genre mash of Japanese samurai stories and science fiction and fantasy elements, kind of all
Space opera.
yeah, kind of all just blended together on the on the big screen that people hadn't seen in theaters, just more like in on TV and in books beforehand.
It was probably the birthplace of most like franchises, like franchise movies. Like if you think about it.
I don't know about franchise movies.
It wasn't planned to be one, but it ended up becoming one.
Right. I think there were more franchises beforehand. Like James Bond was old.
Oh,
Is
okay,
old.
yeah.
There's
James
a
Bond, that's a good point.
yeah, there's a whole bunch of other film franchises back in the day. Just like not all of them have carried over to currently, like Star Wars has.
Ryan, where do you think it belongs?
I honestly can concur with Kevin on that, or in B or C tier. I am a Star Wars fan, as some people know. I defend these movies with my dying breath, but I honestly would put it in B or C tier. I can't decide on which one I would lean more towards, only because it is, as you guys said, technological marvel. It's the nostalgia that really hits for me. But it also it's a very basic story. It's very basic. Meet hero. Hero goes on epic journey with Master. Master gets killed. Hero says, "Well, I learned powers now." Beats main villain, blows up thing.
I can make it easy for you. We can put it in B tier. I was gonna fight for it being A tier, but there's no reason to fight you guys. You both agree on B tier.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right.
Does that sound good?
Yeah. But yeah, like A New
Okay.
Hope is it's a basic story to kind of get you introduced to the world.
I was gonna ask Zach, why do you think it should be an A tier?
Just because it's kicked everything off. I think it earned its place in that A tier, but like I said, there's no reason to find you guys if I can't get it to A tier.
That's fair.
Right. Yeah. That's
I don't think there's a genuine S tier movie in here. Maybe Empire Strikes Back, but that's
okay.
Well, speaking of Empire Strikes Back,
I appreciate
stop.
that, Kevin. I appreciate that.
so Empire Strikes Back, the movie where we found out Vader was Luke's father.
Wow, what a plot twist.
Zach, did you want to lead this one?
Like I said, I will put it in S or A tier. I don't believe it deserves A tier. I think it's S tier because objectively, it's probably, if you Google greatest sequel or greatest movie of all time, it probably pops in that list because it gave us probably the first real lightsaber duel, like besides the Obi-Wan and Vader one in the first one.
You call that a lightsaber duel.
It gives us a real first lightsaber duel. It gives us stakes. It's the heroes don't win in the end. You lose Han Solo. It's a good story. You're enraptured the entire time. I think it deserves S tier because it has that standard, but I don't know if Kevin would agree with me. It's an S tier movie.
I agree. It is one of the two movies I have in S tier. But before I dig into it, how about you, Ryan? Where would you put it?
I would put it in either A, maybe B tier, but I'll lean more to A.
Whoa!
I know that surprises you, but
putting it in a B tier is like a hot take.
Empire Strikes Back. It's a good movie. It's a great sequel. Darth Vader being revealed as Luke's father is great. Luke's struggle with oh, I have some of these dark inhibitions, but you don't see it as much. The introduction of Yoda, it's great. But the entire Han, Leia, Chewie, C-3PO, every single time I watch that movie, I just get bored as it goes along, and I'm like, can we just?
Really?
What do you mean? That's great.
It gets until they get to Cloud City.
What?
I feel like that just drags on for a period of time.
Oh my!
It's
God,
like after
after
Hoth, it's good, and then it gets to and then it's like they just keep flying, and it's like every single time they try to do something, the Millennium Falcon breaks down, and it's like, again, really? Okay, here we go again, and it's like we're just being bogged down. I'm like, I want to see what's going on with Luke, because the time difference in that is so crazy, it's ridiculous.
Kevin, can we override Ryan and just put it in S tier?
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Because I think it's a fantastic.
It's just okay.
Film.
It's not the best Star Wars movie.
It is the best Star Wars movie.
It's not the best Star Wars movie.
It is the best Star Wars movie. It is the most Star Wars of all the Star Wars movies.
Like sequel like second movie out of them all, but it's not. I wouldn't say S tier. It's A tier.
Every Star Wars movie after Empire Strikes Back mimics Empire Strikes Back more than they mimic A New Hope.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely does.
Yeah.
Like Empire Strikes Back is the palette of Star Wars. Like this is Star Wars.
Empire Strikes Back is Star Wars. Yeah.
Guys, I'm a Star Wars hardcore fan, but after I've watched Empire so many times, and I'm like, it's second place on my of all Star Wars movies ranked. It's number 2.
God, I want to watch Empire now. I just want to sit down and watch it.
But it's just a really solid action adventure. You know, it just takes you on a whole emotional roller coaster, and it's all just so much fun and engaging. When I watched it a second time, I think was it earlier.
You texted me. We were like, "Wow." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, no, it's like earlier this year or late last year. Was like I was just really engaged in it with it, and then like I kind of forgot Vader was Luke's father. And then the twist happened. I was like, "Oh my god!" And I also forgot his hand got cut off, so I was freaking out about that. But no, it's like I really like it.
All right, we gotta move on.
Yeah, I don't like Star Wars, but I really like Empire Strikes Back.
I'll just leave it with this. Empire is more of a social movie for me. It's entertaining to watch with a group of friends because of how iconic it is. But watching it on my own, I would not say it's not that high.
I think it just goes with any movie where if you watch it enough times, it just kind of gets tiring.
Yeah.
Even I can totally see that happening with Empire Strikes Back. Like if I watch it like
I agree
so many times and be like, all right, I need something else.
See, I'll have a different opinion on that in a couple movies later, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
All right, moving on.
Moving on. What's next, Zach?
Return of the Jedi.
That's an A tier for me.
I was gonna say A tier too.
I was gonna say B tier, but I'll concede on this one because I have a lot more to fight on later on.
Here's the thing: the first act of Return of the Jedi, really good. It falls apart a little bit in the second act because there really is no second act. But the third act, with the 3 planes of action, with Luke, Vader, and the Emperor in the throne room, that act might be maybe one of the best things in the original trilogy.
That's fair. I'll give you that one.
The whole entire throne sequence is probably the best part of the original trilogy.
Yeah, no, totally. I think it's solid all the way through. Like I was never bothered with the Ewoks or anything.
I wasn't bothered with the Ewoks. It just kind of like it loses steam when you get to Endor. They're kind of like just trying to get, but you're trying to get Luke to Vader at some point.
But yeah, no, it's just like it's a lot of setup and then like a lot of payoff, and it just all does it really well. It's not like 5 out of 5, but it's still a very enjoyable film.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, the climax of the film, the whole entire third act was just amazing.
I agree with Kevin on the Ewoks didn't bog me down. It's the opening that kind of bogged me down because it was just like, why are we all walking in here one at a time when we can just like storm the place and it's like we have a Jedi, we have someone who's already undercover inside, I have a Wookiee. Just get Han off the dang thing. And that's why I'm like, some of the heists they do in later Star Wars movies, I'm like, this makes more sense. You put the team together and use the whole team. You didn't just go in one at a time and get captured one at a time.
Ryan, can you live with it being an A tier, or do you really want it in B tier?
I can live with it being an A tier. It's fine because I have stuff to
like an A- tier or B+.
I still have stuff to fight. I have stuff to fight on with all my soul and being in these next 3 movies. Oh, Crack's neck.
Oh dear God. All right, next one.
Ugh.
Phantom Menace. Ryan, I'll let you lead the discussion on this one.
All right. Phantom Menace was the first Star Wars movie I ever watched. That was the one my dad had. We watched it. He enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I am not one of the few people who have no problem with pod racing. Yes, it's a long scene, but I was like, oh, this is a cool thing. It's pod racing.
I also had no problem with the pod racing. I feel like
pod racing is cool. It's cool in theory.
The problem is the politics is where it drags down. And so I'm like, well, dang, this is where we move slow. Because there's a whole, like, I guess 20, 30 minutes where it's just like we go back and forth between the Senate and the Jedi Council just sitting around. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Put a pin in that when we get to Attack of the Clones. Continue.
But then we get to Darth Maul and one of the best soundtrack moments in the entire Star Wars franchise, in my opinion. One of the best lightsaber duels. I really wish they hadn't killed off Darth Maul. Spoiler if you've never seen it, but if you hadn't seen it, it's 20 years old. 20 plus years old. But yeah, like Darth Maul, I really think they shouldn't have killed him. He should have been the villain throughout the entire prequel trilogy leading up into Anakin becoming Darth Vader. I had no problem with Kid Anakin. I enjoyed Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and I am one of the few people who had no problem with Jar Jar Binks in this movie. He was more annoying in episode 2, but in episode 1, I enjoyed him. That is what I have to say.
My one gripe about like Phantom Menace is there are parts of it where like just George Lucas wasn't thinking. Like in pod racing, for example. Hear me out. Like Anakin, like his pod breaks and he goes to fix it. Instead of him like using the Force to fix it and like showing to the audience he's powerful in the Force, he pulls out a freaking stick and like pulls the engine back to get it to be fixed.
Well, Anakin doesn't use the Force.
He never uses the Force at all in this movie. Besides, I guess blowing up.
No, literally nothing. Yeah. He just has the potential.
I'm going to argue on this.
It.
Oh, go
He's
on.
not.
I'm going to argue on this because me and Zach had a discussion earlier about Luke using the Force in Episode 4. Because you argued he used the Force in order to blow up the Death Star. I argue Anakin used the Force to pod race and also to blow up the control ship for the Separatists. Because he didn't use the Force physically. Because that's what everyone keeps like saying. The Force is when you push stuff and pull stuff.
Well, yeah.
No, he used the Force to better control himself. Yes, he wasn't trained enough to start pulling and pushing stuff. He was only.
Well, here's where
he's the same way as Luke, whereas like he only can control. He's using it for flight because he's not trained in it at all.
Here's the thing: we see Luke talk to Ben and like believe in the Force. We have Mark Hamill get that across like with his like motions and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. We are told by Qui-Gon, oh yeah, he's strong in the midichlorians, and like we're just told that he probably can pod race really well. He's the only human to pod race because he has high midichlorians. We aren't shown
like the same way we're told Luke. We're told Luke is like a great pilot, but we never see it until the very end.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, Anakin. At least we see him practicing for the pod racing, and then also, I mean, it's the fact of if you're talking about the whole believing thing, Anakin believed in the Jedi from the very beginning. He believed that no Jedi could ever be killed. So it makes sense that he would have a strong connection to the Force. Without training, yes, he's not pulling and pushing, but can he control a pod racer? Can he fly? Yes.
Yeah. So, but I mean, actually, I agree with Ryan. Knowing George Lucas's style, I think Ryan's theory is actually correct. In terms of like visual poetry and what he tries to do and how he tries to let the image tell the story, even though he's really bad at it. Like, it's there. So, but yeah, no, because, with the way this Force works, like, he can just be more observant and like have better control of like how he controls things. So that way he's just more aware of like his surroundings and like how to control his ship and so much, and all that. But yeah, so I think I'm gonna side with Ryan on this one, that Anakin does have the Force, and we don't need to be told. We don't need a voiceover of someone be like, and then Anakin used the Force to do this and this. It's there. But like I said, George Lucas is a bad director. So, yeah.
I mean, it's not there. We have to assume. But anyway,
yeah, we're left to assume. I actually kind of so my opinion of Phantom Menace is very flipped from everyone else's. I really like the Phantom Menace up until the third act. Like once the final fight starts happening and like things are blowing up, I stop caring. When Darth Maul shows up and they fight Darth Maul, it is like I think it's one of the least compelling fights of the whole series.
That hurt.
Damn.
Yeah, sorry, I don't like Duel of the Fates because it's just like dramatically.
I don't really care either way. Yeah, but go ahead.
Dramatically, there's nothing going on. It's just like, oh look, there's a bad guy. Well, let's fight him, and then they just fight him with cool styles. And then
they try to recreate the 3 planes of action from Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
but you have no stakes. You don't care about anything going on because it's just a whole visual hodgepodge in front of your eyes.
The whole there's no real relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. So then it's like there's no communication between, and there's no communication between the partners either, or like sense of understanding the situation or anything like that. They're just like.
I read a thing which I kind of agree with, is where they say this is Duel of the Fates because this is deciding Anakin's fate. If Qui-Gon dies, which we know he does, that determines who will train Anakin, which is Obi-Wan, who did not have as much faith in Anakin as Qui-Gon did. And so it basically Anakin's entire future is decided in this battle. But also with the partners don't discuss communicate with each other. It's not shown as well in this movie because half the movie Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are separated. But the thing is supposed to be a master and a Padawan are supposed to have a complete trust in each other. We see it more in Clone Wars and with Anakin and Obi-Wan than we do with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. But I get what you mean, Kevin. It's not shown communication.
Once again, it's there. Like, the idea is there. The execution is just terrible. And like, even though I like the first everything before that in the movie, it's still like the execution is still very off because it's just so compact with information. You have to listen to every single line of dialogue. When I rewatched it recently, my Blu-ray was scratched. So it actually skipped like 10 seconds. And when I skipped that 10 seconds, I was lost. I had no idea what was going on.
Jordan and I fell asleep during Duel of Fates when we rewatched it because we were just so tired from having to listen to all the dialogue.
Well, I mean, I'm totally fine with a movie dialogue. It's just like, there's a time and place. It didn't bother me too much because just, I don't know, it's just my taste.
All right, we got to
pick
pick up the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, where do you want this at?
I'd argue for B. I know you guys probably want to put it lower. If you want to put in C, that's fine, but I'd argue it's a B minus, if anything. If you want to put
Kevin, where do you put it at?
I between C and D. So
I can go C. I'm not letting it touch B tier.
I know here.
Oh my gosh. Phantom Menace is
guys,
C tier. Star Wars fans are gonna light us on fire.
Here's the thing. I'll throw Ryan a bone on this one.
Yeah, because he's gonna fight for tooth and nail for the next one to be lower, and I'm gonna be like, no.
I will fight oh man, Ryan.
I know I'm gonna go down because I'm already literally having to fight 2-1 on the entire prequels. But
Ryan, just off the bat, where do you want to put Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones, I put it in B tier again.
Oh my god,
I would put
absolutely not.
I put it in B tier because everyone's like, oh, Anakin's a whiny. Yes, he's a teenager who is also having to deal with his own emotions. But plus the fact that he was he was taking from everything he knew. The closest thing he has a connection to is both Obi-Wan and Padme. And then he's also struggling with his emotions because he's like, oh, Padme looks beautiful. But also the fact of he has this huge destiny in front of him. And then everything his mother is taken away from him. And it's just, Anakin's probably my favorite character in all of Star Wars. I find him more compelling than Luke. Because at the end of the day, Anakin is supposed to be more emotional than any of the other Jedi.
Here's my thing.
Because the Force is connected to emotion.
Here's my thing. I understand where you're pulling all this information from and how you understand it. Like, it comes from Clone Wars. It comes from your understanding of the whole world of Star Wars.
Right.
However, Attack of the Clones is a movie. That is not there in the slightest.
Not one bit.
If you say so, I see it. I completely see.
You only see it because you know what the story of Star Wars is about.
You're looking at a franchise. I mean, are we looking at this as a franchise? Because some of these other movies we looked as a franchise.
I mean,
we looked at it as a franchise. Then we did.
But the other thing,
you guys can look at it. You guys can see it as a franchise. I'm seeing it as a movie because I'm not familiar with much outside of the movies.
That's why I wanted Kevin here because he can look at them each as a film.
Because I'm like, if we're doing this on film critiques, we already know my opinions on those.
Attack of the Clones is the second worst Star Wars movie.
Yes. Anyway, here my 2 cents on this real quick. Attack of the Clones breaks the cardinal show don't tell rule. I know I already said it before.
Mm-hmm.
However, this can first be seen in the first 5 minutes when Obi-Wan and Anakin are going up in an elevator and are like, oh, remember that time I saved you, Master? Oh, yeah, you saved me from that nasty Gundar pit. It would have been so much cooler and so much more believable if we would have seen Anakin saving Obi-Wan from a nasty Gundar pit.
Mm-hmm.
I got this idea was, I think I heard this in a podcast when they were reviewing Star Wars movies. That would be so cool. It'd be kind of I know you don't like Thor Ragnarok, but it'd be kind of like Anakin hanging there, be like, oh, this is me. How am I going to get out of the situation?
Yeah.
And he uses some cool Force Jedi voodoo shit and kicks ass.
Basically, a really interesting prologue.
The first act is very rough. The second act and the third act kill it for me. Especially that whole entire scene in the Geonosian arena. Love it. I enjoy everything with Obi-Wan on Kamino. I enjoy everything with Anakin and Padme on both Naboo and Tatooine.
Really?
Is the first.
What about Mace Windu and Yoda knowing Obi-Wan's in trouble, and they're like, "Oh, cool," and they go off and watch the Chancellor watch Jar Jar give the Chancellor power. And like, oh, I guess we probably should go save Obi-Wan now. And then they show up.
Think of this as a tactical. Decision. You don't know if you're gonna have backup when you get there. You're gonna take all your experienced Jedi, and it's like, well, hopefully somebody will come save us if we do get into a pickle. But hopefully nothing will come that far. You get there, pretty much most of you die, and then it's like, well, if you hadn't stayed and known there was gonna be an army on the way, you're dead.
They didn't know there was an army coming. Yoda just Deus Machina clones, and that's it.
Yeah.
Mace Windu had a faint idea that, like, hey, an army will be here. I don't know if I'm going to be alive or not when it gets here, but there'll be an army on the way. And plus, I mean, I enjoy the entire Geonosian battle. You see as many Jedi that you get to see an army of Jedi, which you never got to see in the originals. You got to see the actual Jedi acting as a force.
I will admit, the arena scene is really cool. And when I was younger, I used to love seeing all the colored lightsabers, swinging, having a great time in the Geonosian.
Yeah, it's fun.
Geonosian arena. It's fun. Yeah, I like it a lot. Kevin, what are your thoughts?
Oh man, Attack of the Clones just bored me to death. And it's like what, over 2 hours, 2.5 hours or something like that.
Is it really that long?
Oh my god.
I'll Google it. Keep talking.
Oh, Zach, you can't Google it. You can't
I think
Google
it's the
it.
longest, or at least one of the longest Star Wars movies.
You're on the tier list. I'll Google it.
Oh yeah, thank you. Good call.
No, so yeah, I just hate everything about Attack of the Clones. It's just bad all around. Nothing redeemable.
Wow. It's 2 hours and 22 minutes.
2 hours and 22 minutes.
Oh my god!
I did not realize it was that long.
It's too long.
You're telling me Revenge of the Sith is longer than Attack of the Clones?
No, actually, it is 2 hours and 20 minutes. It is 2 minutes less than Attack of the Clones.
Shit.
Then what's Phantom Menace?
Phantom Menace is only 2 hours. I think it's exactly
2 hours and 16 minutes.
No way.
Wow, the prequels. Wow. No wonder
so
I
they're
like
all
these.
roughly.
They're all the same, yeah.
But I'm surprised George Lucas kind of like banked on Jar Jar Binks. He's like, yeah, Jar Jar Binks ruined, doomed all of Star Wars. That was surprising. It made no sense.
You guys saying this is a long movie. Last Jedi is 2.5 hours, so stop talking.
And I will sit there and watch the whole 2.5 hours.
We'll get to that one in a while too. All right. Anyway,
this is the worst 2.5 hours, most boring 2.5 hours.
So y'all are gonna try and rank this as, I'm assuming, F. I will not let it touch F. If you want to put it in C, go ahead.
What about D?
I can put it in D.
D. Do I really have?
Hang on.
I'll give you the D because again,
Nice.
this last
He's gonna give us
movie,
the D.
You guys, I will have to fight. I will fight on this next movie to my heart's content. If you have put what we have put in S tier, so go ahead and put it in D.
So Attack of the Clones in D tier.
My God, Attack of the Clones. Why?
Revenge of the Sith.
You better put that in S tier right now.
Absolutely not.
Yes, if you want to say Empire Strikes Back is S tier, Revenge of the Sith is S tier.
Absolutely not.
I cannot compromise on this. It is S tier.
No,
Revenge of the Sith is C tier for me.
C tier? Jesus Christ, y'all are insane.
It's like
Here's
a solid C.
I can give it A or B, Ryan.
You're gonna give Empire Strikes Back S tier?
Yes, 100%. Yes.
No,
yes.
I want to recount. You can put Empire A tier if you're gonna put Revenge of the Sith lower.
No, they're not comparable.
Look, Ryan, Revenge of the Sith is totally like, you can put it at anywhere, because I understand how important it is to Star Wars, but as a movie, it's like
the pinnacle.
It's okay.
The pinnacle of Star Wars. That is
Revenge of the Sith is if Empire Strikes Back is like what Star Wars is, Revenge of the Sith is what like everyone knows it for now. It's the cult classic.
It's like a hollow echo.
Here's the thing, Ryan. I love Revenge of the Sith. I really do. I enjoy it a lot. However, in my heart of hearts, I know it is not anywhere close to Empire.
I cannot knowingly put Empire at S tier if you're gonna put Revenge of the Sith anything lower than A.
Ryan,
I cannot.
I will.
I can't in good
Revenge
conscience.
of the Sith an A tier for you.
I cannot compromise on Empire Strikes Back.
I give you permission to override me on this one, because it's just like, I don't know. I see how important it is to the series. I just, it was just okay.
I know how important it is to Ryan personally.
This movie is the only Star Wars movie that has made me emotional. The only one of the few movies that have made me emotional.
Really, the only one.
Literally, this is the only movie I am completely invested in Anakin's story. The fall of a hero is one of my favorite concepts ever. I enjoy the Anakin Obi-Wan, that last scene with Anakin Obi-Wan standing over the lava flow, that brings a tear to my eye every single time. Order 66 hurts me every time emotionally. I am invested in how Palpatine manipulates Anakin. It's Revenge of the Sith for me is the pinnacle star. From the beginning of the movie where the drums start beating as you see the cruiser come in and you see
the ships
and you see the entire start of the battle. I was like, this is it. This is what I wanted from Star Wars all from the beginning. This is where we have the war. We have all these different characters whose stories all diverge and then come back together at the end. It's this movie is
the three acts of Revenge of the Sith are what the prequel series should have been, personally.
Yes, because Revenge of the Sith is when the plot of the prequels actually start. So you have to get through 2 really long movies before you can actually get to the one that actually is kind of.
But that's because they're building up Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme. These characters who will be detrimental.
You could have built them up in the exact same way if you did it in the 3 acts of Revenge of the Sith spread out between 3 movies. Anakin, Obi-Wan adventure in the first one.
Was just those movies didn't really build up anything. They just kind of happened.
But it's also to establish, hey, Darth Vader is hey, there's this little kid. It goes back to that question of would you shoot Hitler in the face as a baby? That's what you see. Darth Vader was a normal kid with a normal childhood. He
in this case, yes.
Ryan, Anakin has so many red flags, especially in Attack of the Clones.
He goes through so much heartbreak. He goes through everything. His one wish is to save the one person he has put everything in. He's lost his mother. He's lost the first man who ever believed in him. Because at the end, his motivation changes from I want
he killed Padme
to save her to I want the power to do whatever. And he kind of you find that he regrets that afterwards when he asks, "Is Padme all right?" Because he's like, "I have the power now, but is she all right? I've lost pretty
she's
much
dead."
Okay,
yes, and
hang on. Everyone stop. Ryan, we'll bide you time. We won't rank this one yet. We'll do it at the end. We gotta move on. We're running out of time here.
We can just kind of speed through the next one.
We'll hang on to it. Let's hang on to it. We'll come back to it. Remember this at the end.
All right.
Force Awakens. Where does Force Awakens go?
It's in between C and D for me.
I would agree.
It's between A and B for me.
What?
What? Hey, what?
It's the only good sequel. It's the only good sequel movie.
Oh,
and I will stand by that.
Oh.
It's the only good sequel movie because it's the only one they had an idea what they were doing, and it's the only one that doesn't just say "screw you" to any other movie.
It's just A New Hope. It's just A New Hope.
And it does New Hope better. It does it better. In my opinion.
That's what I originally thought when I saw it, but then I rewatched it all together. I was like, oh, actually, A New Hope was better.
Because they lose it in the 3rd act. They copy everything verbatim until the 3rd act.
New Hope is basic. Yes, it's the start of it all. It's the nostalgia, but this movie, as I've written about, it hits on this nostalgia, but it ups the ante. It gives you new characters. It gives you the old characters. It gives you that sense of Star Wars, but it gives you that sense of Star Wars magic that I kind of feel from both the prequels and the originals, and just meshes them together.
Well, that's what Force Awakens is. Force Awakens is just about the theme of Force Awakens. It's a love
story to all of Star Wars, in my opinion, and it gives me everything I wanted from the movie. I was sad to see Han die. Not emotional like I was in Episode 3, but I was sad to see Han die. I was still in shock every single time I watched the movie. I'm like, that's Han dying. Han Solo killed by his own son, falls into the pit. I'm just like, Han's dead. And you see Chewie have his old rage moment. Are there some moments in the movie I think they could have changed? Yes. Chewie should have definitely gotten a hug from Leia at the end of that movie. But they were really focused on making Rey everything. This is the only movie that Finn is has a good character.
So I will give Force Awakens a pass on being nostalgia bomb because it is coming right after the prequels. So basically it's like,
they need it to be.
They need it to be like a nostalgia bomb to win people back. Be like, hey, it's gonna be more like the original trilogy, or it's not gonna be another prequel situation. Things that poorly aged.
For me, the nostalgia bomb ends after the Starkiller Base blows everything up, because then it loses the A New Hope track and starts. That's where you realize that. Hang on,
That's the end of the movie.
No, I mean not when Starkiller Base blows up the 6 planets in the middle of the movie, whatever. After that, you realize that like, oh, they have no idea what they want to do next.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like the herald for the next 2 movies, where like there was no roadmap, there was no Kevin Feige MCU. What we want to do next.
Yeah.
It was just The Force Awakens is going to copy A New Hope and be a big payday for Disney and Star Wars.
Yep.
And I wish they had put a map to it, which is why I'm not putting it at S tier, and I'm saying either A or B tier, because they didn't have a roadmap to it, and I get that is a very problematic scenario for it. But at the same time, because it's the beginning, it's the only movie that makes sense in the entire series, and the entire trilogy, and the entire sequel trilogy. It's the only one that like works. The other 2 are just big middle fingers to their predecessors.
I disagree. I know Kevin disagrees too.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. You said A or B.
I know.
You said B or
I
A,
heard.
Ryan. Kevin, what do you want it?
I would say between C and D. I'm fine with it being in B.
Put it
but
next
like
to
a
New
B
Hope. It's
minus.
New Hope It's New Hope remastered. So just put it next to.
Force Awakens on par with.
I'd
New
say
Hope,
put it
oh
right
boy.
next to it, since it's, if you guys want to say it's just New Hope rehashed. Put it right next to it.
No, Force Awakens does not deserve to be next to A New Hope.
It has to go below.
See, this is what I was afraid of. Y'all gonna put all the originals.
However, here's the thing. Kevin, we have to give Ryan something, otherwise he's gonna get mad.
Yeah. So we can give this one to Ryan.
Oh, whoa! No, put it back in C then. If you're gonna, I'm gonna come back to episode 3. You can put it in C. I'll concede on almost everything else.
Ryan, are you gonna give us Last Jedi?
Last Jedi. What'd you say?
Will you give us Last Jedi, please?
Are you gonna put that in S tier?
Or A.
I will not put Last Jedi in S tier solely just so we don't get hate from the vile pits of the Star Wars fandom.
Well, just so the audience knows, I, Kevin Lau, love The Last Jedi, and I will put it in S tier in my heart.
Oh, I do too. I would put an S tier in my heart as well. However,
We'll just get like flagged on YouTube
officially,
for hate speech or something.
I can do A tier.
In my heart, I put Last Jedi at B or C tier.
Oh, hang on. We're on Rogue One. Hang on. Back up.
Oh, back up.
Rogue One.
D tier question mark?
It's a solid D for me, but
B or C for me.
I can put it in C.
Put it in C.
yeah, we don't have to talk about that.
I think it's good.
Yeah, it's boring. Jordan and I fell asleep watching it again.
That movie kept me awake the entire time.
The best part's the third act, and when Vader shows up and slaughters the rebels.
That's not even the third act. That's just like the epilogue.
This is what I was afraid of. This is what I was afraid of. I need to make a whole dissertation on Star Wars.
Well,
damn it.
You can do
I
that.
mean, you did. That's how you got your scholarship.
Yeah, that's literally I got a scholarship off
That's
this,
true.
guys. Come on.
And I still don't know
And yet
how.
you didn't enter film. Wild.
Because they recognize game. If you guys had gone in there, you probably wouldn't have gotten anything. Damn it.
All right, Last Jedi.
As I said, B or C tier. It's a happy medium. It does some good. It does
How
a lot.
about an A, Ryan? Would you accept an A?
I'd accept a B.
Zach? I can't.
I can't put it.
I can't.
I can't put it next.
How?
I
If
can't
you
put it next
can't
to Force
put
Awakens.
if you can't put Revenge of the Sith the S tier or A tier, how are you gonna put Last Jedi?
Here's my thing. Okay, hang on. I can put Last Jedi if we move Force Awakens down to C tier.
You can put Last Jedi in what?
In B.
and B tier.
I can't. Oh, what the hell? Again, you think Last Jedi is better than Force Awakens? So that hurts me.
What? Yeah.
100%.
That hurts me. It's nowhere.
Because it's the most Star Wars sequel there is. Because it tries to do something different.
It's literally the most different from all the Star Wars sequels. That's why everyone either loved it or hated it.
Actually,
Exactly. That's the same thing of Empire Strikes Back.
there's so many. So Last Jedi actually echoes a whole lot from Empire Strikes from the original trilogy. It borrows so much from it that
Didn't you
I
guys just
think-
finish? Go, Kevin.
No, it's the Last Jedi is like the most Star Wars of the sequel trilogy. I can write a whole dissertation on how the visual poetry extends from George Lucas's work to Rian Johnson's work. and it's all there. It's not as different as people think it is or claim it to be. It's actually like very in line of the original trilogy.
Y'all just got done arguing me that Force Awakens is bad because it's literally Star Wars rehashed. Then you say this is Star Wars rehashed, and I'm like, make it make sense.
No.
It's not.
It's not rehashed.
It's not
It's the
rehash.
same.
It's an
not.
extension.
As I say, the whole Kylo, Rey, and Luke thing, that was a good point for Star Wars. Good point for it. Everything else in that movie was very just and like even like at the ending I was like this was also starting the downfall for what happens in 9.
Luke becomes literally a New Hope again.
Mm-hmm.
Here, okay, we have to make a decision here.
I'm sticking with B. It's a B.
I will only put
no.
it if we move Force Awakens.
Where are you putting the Rise of Skywalker?
F.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll concede on that one. I'll give you Rise of Skywalker F.
Okay, so Force Awakens. Are we moving that to C tier?
Ryan, that's your call.
If we do, I'm gonna have to put every last bit of my soul into Episode 3. So do it at your own risk.
We can give him Revenge of the Sith.
All right, I'm putting Last Jedi in B tier. I'll give Revenge of the Sith in A tier. I'm not giving it S tier.
I can't believe y'all. You have to give the prequels its love. Damn it.
No,
because they're trash.
You have to give this one prequel some
Solo. Ryan, where do you want Solo at?
F. Right. Put it right in F.
Yeah.
That is again. What's your name? Han. What's your last name?
Kevin.
I had it in C. I can totally see it being in D. It's just fine. It's just an average movie.
How the hell?
It's just we didn't need it. No one wanted it.
How the hell?
Everyone wanted the Phil Lord Chris Miller movie, but not the one we got.
What the hell is going on here?
Honestly, this list is pretty on par for
This
what I
is
wanted.
because I'm fighting 2 film majors. I should have known I was gonna lose this fight.
Not even film majors. We just have decent takes in Star Wars.
You don't feel the heart of it. You don't get the heart of it. Damn it.
I wouldn't say that. The heart of it is cold hard cash.
Zach, you also didn't like the books.
I did like the books. They just weren't that great.
Ah, jeez.
I like the books that were after the original trilogy.
I like those. I like the ones that were doing the prequel trilogy.
Yeah.
I will never read anything from the sequel trilogy because in my head, the sequel trilogy, I wish it wasn't canon. In an alternate universe, the sequel trilogy doesn't exist.
All right, Solo and F or D tier.
Solo F.
Wait, which one?
F or D tier. Solo.
I would put it in D, but
If you put Solo in F, I'll give you a Revenge of the Sith at A.
I can live with that.
yeah,
It's not-
let's put
I can-
Solo in F. No one really cares about
So
it.
Revenge of the Sith goes in A now.
Yeah, you can put it in A. It's not an A tier movie. It's
You're
an
right.
S tier movie.
It's a C tier
I'll-
movie at best.
It's an S tier movie.
I love how like
and
Zach and
so
I were
for
just
all
like
the audience.
we cared so little about Solo. We're like, yeah, we could just toss in the fire. I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
For all the listeners, this tier list does not reflect Ryan Davis at all. At all.
We know.
This
Ryan, you should put together your tier list and just post it on Twitter.
Can we just put my tier list at the end of this movie just to show what Ryan
Oh,
Davis...
actually, yeah, we can actually Zach. Yeah, we can just do a screen
Yeah, we
cap
can.
of like
Yeah.
our individual ones.
Yeah, let's do
Have it
that.
at the end.
Just show my little tier, what my tier list would be at the end.
All right, and then Rise of Skywalker.
F.
Kevin. I
Oh
assume
yeah, 100%.
F, yeah,
Like
okay.
Attack of the Clones is second worst. Rise of Skywalker is the worst.
I agree.
I think the only redeeming quality from that entire movie is the fact that I get to see Lando one more time.
I mean, even
Pretty
then.
much it.
Yeah.
It was the redeeming quality is I got to see 3 black people in Star Wars. That has never been done. There's only been one in any movie.
Yeah.
So this was the only time I got to see 3 black people on screen at the same time.
Lando and Rise of Skywalker is like Pimp Grandpa though.
Yeah. He really is.
He
Jeez.
really is. Yeah.
Yeah. R.I.P. black people in Star Wars. R.I.P. any minority in Star Wars. If you ain't white in Star Wars, you don't have a future. I'm sorry. You'll either be a drug dealer or you'll just be irrelevant. You get no love.
You get pushed to the sidelines.
And I will also argue forever, Finn and Rey were the end game. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So should have been Finn and Rey.
Thank you.
I'm more of
Grace.
I'm more of a Poe and Finn
Um,
kind of guy.
That's
personally.
I'll give you that one. But
I mean that one too. So
anything but Kylo and Rey.
If Rey was gonna be a Jedi, it would be the whole Luke thing where she would have either died with the Force or she wouldn't have had a future with anyone else. She would have been a Jedi.
the Rey and Poe route
Say what?
would
Ew.
just
That
kind
was
of be
introduced.
interesting. So the original Episode 9 would be Rey and Poe together.
That's weird because
that's
the
just
thing is
kinda
they
weird.
had no interaction until like literally the end of 8, like the last minute of 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't have worked at all. I will forever be a Finn and Rey person from the beginning, but
but Finn and Rose would have been fine too.
Finn and Rose also would have been fine.
Yeah.
Finn
Rose.
Finn with either of those three would have been fine.
Finn with anyone.
You
Finn
could put
Kylo.
you could put Finn with anyone. Put him with BB-8. The man's
That's
a legend.
Poe. Poe and BB-8. What are you talking about?
Poe and BB-8. Yeah, you're right. Put Finn with that jacket.
Alrighty, ladies and gents, here's our final ranking for Committed Critics. Committed Critics' final ranking of the Star Wars movie saga. In F tier, we have Solo and The Rise of Skywalker. In D tier, we have Attack of the Clones. In C tier, we have The Phantom Menace, The Force Awakens, and Rogue One. In B tier, we have A New Hope and The Last Jedi. In A tier, we have Return of the Jedi and Revenge of the Sith. And in S tier, we have the God tier movie, Empire Strikes
Oh, don't
Back.
even say God tier. Oh, Jesus. I
God
threw up
tier.
in my mouth a little.
God tier.
You know,
God tier.
this entire tier
God
list is
tier.
made kicking and screaming. This is a horrible reflection. I needed an extra person. I need someone on my side.
Ryan, there is no one in the Star Wars universe on your side on this one.
I'm sure I can find a few people.
Oh, you sure can. They're on Twitter somewhere.
I know a few people who I actually know a few people personally who might back me up on some of my decisions, but I'm hurt.
I know a few people on Twitter thanks to a fight a couple years ago. So
Oof. Yeah, you got a Twitter fight over last year.
Yeah,
it was fun.
I'm hurt that the prequels are so low and the originals are so high. Like
We didn't rig it at all, dude. This is just how it is.
Stop the count.
Stop the count.
I don't want to be him. I don't want to be him. You can't lump me in the same audience as him.
You became
Yeah.
the very thing you swore to destroy.
You know what? If that's the case, I'll go down with it. If I have to be evil on this, I'm the evil one here. Fine.
You done that
But
yourself.
Ryan.
I respect I respect the actual lore of Star Wars. I don't care about film and criticism.
Your anger and your lust for power.
I'm fine with that. I'll burn on lava. I'll burn on lava happily. Because you want to know what? At the end of the day, Anakin fucked.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. Well, that is
Yeah. Ryan, I love you.
the season finale. I love you too, Ryan.
Ugh, I hate you. I hate you!
Oh, Jesus.
Rip.
That is the season finale of season 1 of Committed Critics.
Will Ryan return?
Will Ryan return in season 2?
I might
guess-
pull an Order 66 on Committed Critics.
I just pull Ryan aside after we're done recording. It's like, hey, Ryan, you're fired.
Yeah. We're letting
I
you
know.
go.
I'm pulling an Order 66. I'm gonna get you guys.
I forgot to tell you, Ryan, there's some last minute reshoots we gotta do, and you have to have a thing of rebar go through your gut, and we have to write you off.
Oh wow, jeez.
And give me the Tommy Merlin
Oh,
treatment.
boy.
You know what? If that, I'm afraid when we do the MCU tier list, because that's when I'm gonna have to fight to get
Oh my
Thor Ragnarok
God.
and F tier, and that will be
That just won't happen. That's just not.
I know it
gonna
won't
I can
happen.
say that right now.
But as long as it hits C tier and no, it doesn't go higher than that, we'll be good. We'll be good.
Kevin, where would you put Ragnarok if you had right now?
I would put it in either B or
Yeah,
A.
same.
I'll concede for B just so I don't have to fight any longer than that.
I can
Yeah.
live with that.
It deserves an F, but I'll put it in B. Maybe a D. Maybe a D.
Well,
but I'll
that
concede
is just
for
your
B.
opinion, but yeah. Well, Ryan is definitely a committed critic.
Very committed. A little too committed.
My entire soul and being.
So, you guys can follow us at Twitter at Committed Crits. That is COMMITTED CRITS. You can support us on Patreon, give us some cash, so we can just keep this up and running on Podbean and all your favorite streaming sites. You can watch this video, like we said earlier, on youtube.com/KFM Studios. A special thanks to our sound engineer, Jordan Smearman. And we'll see you guys in 4 weeks for the season 2 premiere. Bye bye.
The dark side will win.
Jesus